And yes, they get the Supercopa to show for it, and Real Madrid do not get a win in the final, something that we are used to seeing. When it comes to back-to-back El Clasico wins by 3 or more goals, well, this is only the second time Barcelona have done it in their history. You have to go way back to 1926 for the last time they did it. The last time it actually happened was in 1963 when Real Madrid did it, and Real Madrid had been the team to do it the most before that. So it just shows you, in the context of history, how big those two results have been for Barcelona. And a happy man joining us today, no doubt, in Luis Garcia. You knew they were going to win today, Luis.
I didn't know, to be honest, but it's true that I felt that Barcelona was doing good. We saw the other day the idea, the mentality of the players has changed in the past month where they have struggled to get results. We saw a good Barcelona. We saw the way that they were approaching to the game, very intense once again, very dynamic, and they were scoring goals. So I was expecting something like this against Real Madrid. You never know what is going to happen. I think they show something different. They showed that the ability to even though in the bad moments, to have that resilience, to have that strong mentality, reaction after conceding the goal, and overpass this kind of situation to score 2, 3, 4, and even 5 goals. And even when they were one man down, they managed to get together, to put something extra, to be humble, and to manage to don't concede anymore. So I think that tonight Barcelona deserved the win, and they showed why they are scoring goals, why they are so clinical up front, and why there is a team to count for the next trophies during the season.
This is me reacting to an outstanding performance from Barcelona. They have to be this excited when they play against lesser opposition in La Liga. Now, getting up and playing El Clásico should come natural to players because of the magnitude of the event. But winning a game against Real Madrid, as they did in October, is the same as winning a game against Leganés in terms of the points value. And that is the part that Barcelona have found difficulty. It hasn't been easy for them to be able to carry this same sort of urgency and intensity and excitement and a dynamic movement and explosion and goals and productivity against the lesser opposition. And again, if they're going to go on to compete for this title in La Liga, they have to win those games just as much as they have to win El Clásico.
Do you agree, Luis?
100%. You don't win a trophy by winning only against Atletico Madrid and Real Madrid. You win a trophy, a competition like La Liga. There is a long season where there are good moments and bad moments. Winning against Leganés, against Betis, against Celta de Vigo. Those are really the ones who give you that consistency that you need to win a trophy. Definitely, the boost of winning against Real Madrid or Atletico de Madrid is fantastic because they give you confidence, because you put a small gap between you and them, but also because of your supporters, that you know that they got that rivalry between them. But definitely into the dressing room, what you are thinking about and what you plan in a month is, okay, we got 4 games, we need to win all of them. We cannot count about if we play against Atletico Madrid, against Betis. It's about winning all of them, because when you play in Barcelona, when you play with Real Madrid, the only good results is at the end of the season is winning a trophy. If you finish seconds, it's going to be always a fail.
Now, Real Madrid, we've got to get to them. They had not lost a game since early December when they had that loss to Athletic. Since then, everything's been going their way. It was all wins, only 1 draw in all of that time as well. What happened today?
Well, first of all, they made sure that they lost today. Goodness. This team, there was no structure to Real Madrid today. No plan in place. No execution of a plan. The lack of organization defensively. Are they stepping high? Are they dropping off? So stretched throughout all lines on the field. And you have essentially what it was. Vini, Mbappe, Rodrigo doing their own thing. Bellingham tried to float. Camavinga getting himself out of position in the midfield. And Valverde trying to cover 50 yards at a time. When we see Fede Valverde making sliding challenges and people go, ooh. If he's having to run 40 yards to make a sliding challenge to cover a space, that tells you by definition that the structure of the team is all over the place. As a central midfielder, it shouldn't be your job to sprint from a central position 40 yards out towards the sidelines to go make a challenge out there, sliding challenge, that if you don't make it, the other team is through on goal. That tells you that defensively, this team all over the place. And so you have to look at the individuals. Lucas Vázquez has issues defending. It's not natural to him. Tchouaméni, as a center back, look, if you have any sort of experience as a striker playing anywhere around Tchouaméni, you can get on the blind spot of him because he doesn't know where you are. He just doesn't have that in his game. He may have the physicality, he may have the athleticism, but he cannot read the game.
But was
as a
he right
center
to
back.
have him there? Because it has been working somewhat with him there since that game, since Athletic. He's put him there in the defensive line, and they've been winning.
Okay, playing against whom?
Not Barcelona.
Okay. Not Lewandowski, not Rafinha, not Lamine Yamal. I'll give you two examples. Two examples from today. I'm not going back in time. Two examples from today. The first goal by Lamine Yamal. Once Lamine Yamal breaks open, right? He breaks open. He breaks through. Rudiger gets himself out of position, which doesn't help. And if you're Tchouaméni, what is the first thing that you got to do if you're playing against a left-footed, heavily left-footed player like Lamine Yamal? You keep him to his right foot. You don't give him the middle. You shade him to the outside. Oh, by the way, you got help coming from the outside from Ferland Mendy. That tells you this is a guy that doesn't know how to defend. Now, you may say, that's just one example. No, I'll give you a second example. The Rafinha goal. Out of position, his starting position is bad from Tchouaméni. Now he's recovering. Oh, my goodness. Now what do I do? Desperately defending out of position. And first of all, he's nowhere to be found in this goal. But I'm talking about the second Rafinha goal. In this goal, he's nowhere to be found, and neither is Lucas Vázquez, and you can obviously point the finger at both of them, and whoever is not putting pressure on Jules Koundé. But in the next goal by Rafinha, where's Tchouaméni? He's already late, and now, as a defender, you cannot allow Rafinha to go back to where he wants to go, which is his left foot. You can't do it. And so, I'm pointing the finger at Tchouaméni, but Rudiger is out of position. And so there's plenty of blame to go around. And if you are a team that knows that you're short on numbers defensively, why are you trying to play a high line when you can't press the ball in front of you? They have difficulties getting numbers around the ball in the middle third. So why, as a back line, are you going to step out and leave all that space open? It makes zero sense. That's why my first comment about Real Madrid is that no structure defensively, no organization, and no game plan. If that was the game plan for today, that was never going to work.
Luis, were you surprised to see Real Madrid this disjointed, especially knowing what happened in October, the fact that Carlo Ancelotti had even said they'd look back at that game to learn lessons from it?
Honestly, no, I wasn't surprised because this is a Real Madrid that we've seen many times. And many times because the structure of Real Madrid has been getting results but not delivering good performances. The quality and ability that these players have up front, it makes the difference every single weekend. But not because they play in a style that you can identify, that you can say, okay, this team is working to try to bring the ball to Vinicius Jr. or to Jude Bellingham, or they are making the run to make spaces to the diagonals of Valverde or to the players from second line to get involved. No, this Real Madrid is built because the talent that they got up front is just to get the ball and try to bring it to them. And they will make the difference, but not with an idea. So when you play against a team that is very well organized, that it looks solid, and of course, that there is always a threat, you're going to be in trouble. Starting from having two players at the back, that you know that they are not comfortable playing there. Lucas Vázquez is a winger, and Tchouaméni is a holding midfielder. That he has been playing over there in that situation, but again, not against a team that brings so many players, that commits so many players going forward. And I think the worst part that I was surprised is that when you play against Barcelona, always the battle is going to be went into the middle. So if you put only two players that they are going to be in charge of running around Casado, Pedri, Gavi, and every single player that goes into the middle, you know that the battle is lost. And today, Camavinga and Valverde, they were overrun. They were out of position. Camavinga should have been sent off, not because of his fault, it's because no one was tracking back. So he has to go to the left, to the right, Valverde covering the players from the winger. So in the end, you can see that it was really a Real Madrid exposed against a team that is been working. You know that they got an idea, and they are going to keep with the same plan from the first minute until the last minute. So in the end, it was overplayed in every phase of the game. And the worst part, I think, it was the reaction. We didn't see any reaction. Even with one man one more man for Real Madrid. We couldn't see those moments, those last 20 minutes of Real Madrid just attacking and attacking. And that's surprising because they could have had a chance after that second goal, but the reaction was none.
I know you took issue with Vinny Jr. today.
Well, one of many players, but yes, in particular Vinny Jr. because, look, an extremely talented player. But he, if not taken care of or handled or managed properly by Carlo Ancelotti, I can see Vinny Jr. being a locker room divisive sort of guy. If I'm a defensive player, if I'm Fede Valverde, if I'm Camavinga, if I'm guys that have a lot of ground, either losing it or walking, I have a problem. Because I want to run for you. Yes, I will run for you if I'm Fede Valverde. But once we get the ball to you, you need to give us something impactful. And please don't just walk around. Don't lose the ball and walk. At least fake it for the next 5 yards to make it look as if you're trying to, at the very least, defend. When you think about the knock-on effect of Real Madrid defensively, when a guy like Vinny doesn't defend at all, I'm not asking him to go and chase all the way to his defensive third. But when he doesn't give you anything defensively, that means that now Camavinga has to get out from the middle. And Valverde has to get out from the middle to go cover space. And if they don't get there, guess what? All the underneath space in front of the back line is exposed. And that's when then you have Lewandowski showing into that space, which then pulls out Rudiger out of position. And what happens? It's knock-on effect. You're stepping late there, he's stepping late here, and eventually Lamine Yamal is 1v1 situation. I'm not making this up. This is what happened on the field. So when we think about what the effect of a player walking on the field, it's not just because I'm picking on Vinny Jr. It's because what it does to everybody else on the field. This is a team that they're naturally stretched because they're willing to depend on Rodrigo, on Mbappe, on Vinny, on Bellingham to get forward. They're willing to take this chance. So they're naturally exposed. So they need, at the very least, minimum effort from Rodrigo, from Mbappe, and in particular from Vinny Jr. to get themselves in a defensive position where they slow down the play and you don't allow other teams to get out in transition. That never happened today from Real Madrid's perspective. And so they get stretched from the very beginning. They get stretched from a front line that doesn't press the ball, a second line that is late to the press because they're having to cover the spaces left open by these guys that are not willing to defend, and then a third line defensively that is now having to cover the spaces of the midfield. Hence why they're stretched.
And obviously communication is going to be a big part of this. Luis, if you're to look at leaders in this Real Madrid side, who should that be falling on? Are they lacking leadership right now?
They got players who can show leadership that we've seen it many times. Even though that he's very young, I think Jude Bellingham has showed his leadership since arrived to Real Madrid. The way and the style of play, to trying to run around, to put a little bit of a tackle sometimes, to show that personality, I think is important. But of course, from Rudiger to Lucas Vázquez, those are players important from Real Madrid in this moment, because definitely they know that playing against Barcelona is also going to be important for the rest of the season. The feeling, what is the atmosphere right now? Let's not forget, we got also Vinny Jr. that is been in the club for quite a long time. Mbappe that just arrived maybe doesn't have the understanding what it means to lose against Barcelona, but he's got a background who actually give him the power of the ranks to talk about and to say, listen, we have to move forward. That's the only positive thing, I think, for me today, even though that it was a little bit of a disaster, this Real Madrid side, it was that they got Mbappe. Today, he showed once again why he's been one of the top players in the last years, why this Real Madrid can rely on him. Because even though today the Real Madrid was a total disaster in defense, that they couldn't manage to create chances up front, he was the most dangerous player. He scored goals, he was attracting players, he was making danger in being a threat every single time that he was on the ball. Maybe Real Madrid can rely on that. Finish the game, they say, listen, get together, let's move forward, and let's think about Copa del Rey that is in next Thursday, and of course of La Liga. Because right now the most important is to change the mentality straight away, forget about this game, and focus on what Real Madrid has been done in the past month. Because right now, let's not forget, they are second on the race of La Liga, and they can have the chance of continuing the Champions League.